Hey vinyl community, Jeff here again. I want to go ahead and make this video while I had made the other one, which you probably previously saw, about the CDs. But I did want to cover some of the recent vinyl, I guess you could call them finds. Not really though, these were all online orders. But I call them finds because they're the price dropped to a point where it was worth buying. These are items that I've had on my wish list for a while. Basically hole fillers, just things that I'm looking to get. And then with the Amazon thing that I monitor my list, I watch, and when the prices drop to what I consider a reasonable amount, then I'll grab it. And what's nice, a couple of these came from overseas, and with Prime, you still get, you know, it's either the typical $3.99 shipping or free if they're a Prime thing, even from like the UK or whatever. So I don't know how they do that, but it makes the price very reasonable in my pocketbook at least. This first one, though, however, is not exactly one of those. I forgot I should have mentioned that. This issue came from the record label. This album, it came out. I tried to order it 2 or 3 times. Amazon kept sending me the wrong album. Eventually, I gave up. They literally sent me the wrong album at least 2, maybe 3 times. Those videos are way back in the past. They ultimately let me keep an album that I got, and I'm like, you know, I'm just not going to buy it at this point. I don't know, maybe financially I decided against it. And now it's harder to find at a reasonable price. The label writes an email and says, hey, we've just got some back, some of the colored limited edition color ones back from some of the retailers. We have 10 in stock. So I grabbed one of the Hollywood Cowboys Quiet Riot. Now, of course, shortly after this, Frankie Banali died. So, you know, while the band has continued on, I believe, I don't know as far as recording whether they'll do much, but they did pick up and went on, I believe. And this was actually the last album. They did a live album after this, but this was the last album they recorded as a full band, you know, with Frankie and all that. And this has Neil Turbin on vocals. You might remember him if you used to watch American Idol. He almost won American Idol. And since this time, he's done solo albums. He's had some other solo work done, and he's with Clean Break. He's did a project now with that. So I've always enjoyed his vocals, and so the thing is, this is, I guess, the European release, and it was on yellow. There's different colors, I believe. This was a 2019 release from the band, and so I wanted to get it, and it, you know, it is the last one. There is a the other album, Road Rage. It came out before this. That was also one that I have on my list for vinyl, but this one it is a gatefold. It's just got cool pictures there, so. Anyway, so yeah, I was glad to get this, and it was actually a reasonable price directly from the label. What is it? Frontiers? Yeah, Frontiers Records. So, you know, they said, hey, we got a couple of them in, so I grabbed one. This next one also, this one was one I've been watching on Amazon. It's the reissue of Crimson Glory. Absolutely just a masterpiece of an album, melodic, 80s sounding, just soaring vocals. Release, and this is on the Music on Vinyl, which they always do a fantastic job. And so this came out, and it has fluctuated in price. This is the this silver, gray, whatever you want to call it. There. So when I saw this drop, I forget how much it dropped to, but it was reasonable. When I say drop, I usually look for albums like this, new reissues, new, you know, releases. I look for them to drop under $30, because most albums when they first come out, they're like 32, 34. But then not only that, I usually wait for them to drop under 25. Now, if it's a major release, it has, and that's when it comes to some of these limited releases. But if it's a major release and if it's a new release, you know, then I'll wait a couple weeks or months for it to drop under 20, because a lot of times it will. But if it drops into the upper edge of that, you know, the lower edge of that, 22, so I'll grab it. So this one, can't remember exactly how much it dropped for, but it went down well enough for me to jump on it. Love that album. Getting an original copy for a lot of people is a grail. It's expensive. So anyway, same with this one. I think this one actually goes all the way back to I want to say maybe possibly Father's Day, or maybe it was just some kind of a credit I got. It seems like there was a credit, and I ordered this, and it did go from overseas, and it took like a month to get here. And that's Unbroken by Tokyo Blade. Now, if you're familiar with Tokyo Blade, I'm a fan since the first album. On the first couple albums, Alan Marsh was the vocalist, and that's where I cut my teeth. Then they changed vocals, and they went kind of a little more, I don't want to say commercial, but The label made them drop him, and they got in a new vocalist, which had a different sound. Not that I have anything against that sound. I like all the Tokyo Blade releases. But for me, Cut My Teeth on Alan Marsh, that was the sound. That was, to me, the singer. And I've always enjoyed that original sound. Well, he came back. So this was, the band released an album in like 2011, and then they just kind of, you know, disappeared. And then in 2018, they come back with this album, and he's back on vocals. And to me, this sounds like Tokyo Blade should, because it's just the way I was brought up with it. They released an album in 2020 that I also have on my list that I have, I thought I ordered it already, but I didn't, because again, there's a version out there with the single disc and a version out there with the double vinyl, and they are imports, and they're in the $40 range. So I do want to get that, but absolutely dig this album. Now, they do have a new album, came out just this year, 2022. Only CD so far, but same lineup as far as Alan vocals and everything. And the tracks I've heard are just amazing, what I want. So I'm hoping they put a vinyl on that, and I'm going to try to jump on that. But Tokyo Blade, just, you know, like one of those bands in the 80s that I really gravitated towards back in the day, Midnight Rendezvous and all that stuff. So I said, you know, I got this credit or gift card or something, and that one was, those have never really went down because they are imports. I think this is a European version. So they were always in the 30 plus realm. It's just black. So I know that they're eventually going to go away as far as, you know, disappear and become more scarce. So I don't want to wait forever. So I went ahead and made the leap. This is a whole filler. I found a great price on Stalingrad by Accept. This is one of the recent, I think a more recent reissue. Back on Black in the past couple years. And so there's a handful of stuff in the latter years of Accept that I hadn't picked up on yet, and so I wanted to grab this. And again, it dropped in a decent amount of price, and so I grabbed one of those. This one I actually got on with the same thing here. Yeah, I was still missing a vinyl reissue, a vinyl release of Holy Diver, and this is the 2021 reissue. I think it's just on Black. Yeah. And it's, you know, so when it got reissued, I want to say that's what it is. I don't want to try to look at that in the dark. I went ahead and grabbed it. Absolutely, you know, I bought this album back in the day when it came out. Same with the, you know, Last in Line. I need to get one of those. Those are like some of the only early ones that I don't have yet on vinyl. So I did grab this. Again, the price dropped. I've been watching them, but they never seem to drop too much. But then it finally did, and I'm grabbing it. Now, I do want to get the new remix edition. I'm hoping that might drop because it's still hovering in the $35 range. I know it's a double record set, etc., etc. So I'll eventually pull the trigger on that. But for now, it's too new. I'm going to wait for it to fizzle out a little bit, maybe. This was a Facebook one that recently came in. I've had my eye on this. It seems like everywhere I see this, it's closer to $40. And since it's not like a favorite release, I didn't pull the trigger. But then a fella sold it on Facebook for under that with shipping, and I thought I might as well make a move on that. That's a Virtual 11 by Iron Maiden. Yeah, the Blaze Bayley years are different, and they're not really a great favorite, but, you know, I wanted to get this. I have the other one with him, and so I needed this one. There's still a small amount of holes that I've got in my studio collection of Iron Maiden. You know, these are just on Black. 2 double record set. And I'm sure anybody who's an Iron Maiden has seen this. This is just a typical release. But I was glad to get this. So again, just hole fillers, just things, nothing major, but things that I have run across at decent prices that I wanted to go ahead and grab to fill some holes in my collection. That's it, though. Thanks for watching. I'll be back. Rock on and rock hard.